After an 8-month investigation, the Senate Judiciary Committee today will release a report on how the Trump administration attempted to subvert the law in an effort to keep the president in office. The report provides new details on the efforts of then acting Assistant Attorney General Jeffrey Clark as he attempted to do the bidding of President Trump. Joining us now, Chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Democratic Majority Whip, Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois. So, Senator Durbin, you just rolled out this report. We're getting our first look at it. Let me start with Jeffrey Clark, a name I'm not sure most Americans are familiar with. Who is he exactly, and what did you find he did in the days around January 6th and in that attempt to overturn the election?
Jeffrey Clark played an outsized role in the effort of the President of the United States to overturn the results of the last election. I don't know how he came on the scene originally. We think it might have been through a Pennsylvania Republican congressman. He was head of the Civil Division in the Department of Justice, and the acting Attorney General at the time, Jeffrey Rosen, and his Deputy Attorney General, Richard O'Donoghue, noticed that all of a sudden his name was popping up in conversations with the White House, and he was making statements to people about what the Department of Justice should do, certainly not within his responsibilities as the head of the Civil Division. Ultimately, he became the choice of the President, Donald Trump, to replace Jeffrey Rosen when Rosen and Donoghue resisted the president in his efforts to subvert the election.
And you find direct pressure from the White House with Mark Meadows putting pressure on the Department of Justice, Jeffrey Rosen and others, and saying you need to initiate investigations of fraud in the elections that President Trump lost, state-by-state elections. So what was Mark Meadows' role here in your investigation?
We have to recall that it's been a long tradition between the Department of Justice and the White House as to contacts made suggesting activity by the Department of Justice. I think that the strongest pillar was established during the Watergate era when they saw Richard Nixon trying to manipulate the White House. You remember the Saturday Night Massacre and all that followed from that. And so they established standards that basically said there are a limited number of people and a limited purpose for the contacts and communications between the White House and Department of Justice. I'm sorry to say Mr. Meadows broke that very basic standard and started pummeling the Department of Justice under Jeffrey Rosen, trying to get them to take actions and investigate things one after the other. It was a clear breakdown in what was supposed to be a trusting relationship between the two.
Your committee had closed-door interviews with the former acting Attorney General, Jeffrey Rosen, and he described pressure directly from the president. I think it was 9 phone calls from former President Trump to Jeffrey Rosen. How did he describe those phone calls? What was the president asking him to do?
The president was relentless. As soon as William Barr announced that he found no wholesale fraud in the election results and announced he was leaving, that was when the President of the United States decided to put full court pressure on the new acting Attorney General, Jeffrey Rosen. And as I said before, he was relentless. When you look at the number of contacts, we're still waiting for even more evidence to come in on that subject. He was really pushing the Department of Justice to bend to his political will. And I will tell you, I don't think I'm overstating the case. We were a half step away from a full-blown constitutional crisis. If Rosen would have folded, if the other members of the leadership in the Department of Justice were not willing to stand behind him, and I give them credit for that, we could have seen the Attorney General of the United States pushing for the election results to be ignored by governors and states across the nation. It would have been catastrophic.
Senator Durbin, good morning. It's Jonathan Lemire. It's sort of remarkable that we're coming up on a year almost since the election. And, you know, January the 6th was 9 months ago. And we're still learning so much about what happened in those really perilous days, just how close we came, as you said, to things going even further awry than they already did. So my question to you right now is, what comes next? What are the next steps? Where else are these probes going? What are other avenues, threads you are looking to pull? And what sort of consequences, if any, will there be for some of the people involved?
Well, as far as Mr. Clark is concerned, we have notified the officials in D.C. that we believe there's a serious question as to whether he should still be licensed to practice law in light of his conduct that's been disclosed in this testimony and evidence. That's one thing. But the bigger question is, why are we holding back? Well, the reason is Mitch McConnell and the Senate Republicans said they would not participate in a bipartisan commission to investigate January 6th and what led up to it. And this was part of the entree to the January 6th episode, which we all remember. Luckily, the Select Committee in the House, a bipartisan committee appointed by Speaker Pelosi and containing Congresswoman Cheney as well as Congressman Kinzinger of Illinois, is pursuing this matter as they should. We have turned over all of our results to them. We have consulted with them as to make sure we didn't jeopardize any of their activities. But that is a very viable and credible effort to get to the bottom of a lot of these questions.
Senator, you mentioned now Senate Minority Leader McConnell, and I want to get your take on his offer yesterday about the debt ceiling, offering an extension, if you will, pushing the deadline down to December, but still very much clearly saying, hey, this is Democrats and Democrats alone. This is your problem. You got to fix it. What do you make of that? What do you make of his just overall approach to this matter?
I tell you, it's a very dangerous approach. It's very political, and he is risking the economy of the United States. We have literally never defaulted on our debt. Our credit rating is as strong as it is in the world because we pay our debts as they're incurred. Senator McConnell decided to challenge that basic premise and to say that we could default on the debt as part of his political strategy. That finally, in the cold of the morning hour, when he took a look at what the results might be, he changed his mind. And I'm glad he did. Now we've got to make sure that we have a process to approve our debt ceiling on a regular basis without this political drama. The drama itself costs the American economy. It threatens to raise interest rates and jeopardize jobs and really be an obstacle to our economic growth. It was an irresponsible effort. So we at least have till December to finish the hard work that we have to do on the bipartisan infrastructure bill and the reconciliation bill that deals with things like the cost of prescription drugs. We can get that done, and we should. And then December, let's not go through this drama again. Let's not relive it. For goodness sakes, the American people deserve better.
Senator, before I let you go, I want to circle back one last time to the Judiciary Committee's report that we've been talking about with you this morning. As you read through it, some of the details are pretty breathtaking. What you described there really is a White House attempt to take over the Department of Justice effectively, to run some people out who are not supportive of that effort and to put in people they believe would support their overturning of the election. What alarms you most as you heard that testimony, as your committee draws those conclusions?
How close we came to a constitutional crisis, the likes of which we've never seen in this country, and I hope we never, ever see. But this president was prepared to shred the Constitution to keep his position in the White House. And when it didn't work in his direct appeal to the courts, he went to try to take over the Department of Justice. When that didn't work, he turned the mob loose in the streets on January 6th in Washington. He was in a relentless effort to protect his own presidency, even at the cost of the Constitution and our nation.
It is a stunning report that everybody ought to read. Senator Dick Durbin, the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, thanks for being with us this morning.